TGIF, and welcome to Fridays with Flora. If you're hearing some congestion, it's because the plague has hit our house. Nice way to start 2019. But here we are, starting the new year, and this month, and maybe some of next month, we're going to focus on cleaner, healthy eating. This is something I like to do to start every year. This year I'm going to be working through the Bon Appetit Food Lovers Cleanse cookbook. Their Healthy-ish program too. They've got some nice recipes, and also doing some fast metabolism diet kind of approaches and some recipes there too. Not following it strictly, but I like how you cycle through proteins and carbs to kind of up your metabolism. So that is all on the plate this month, and it's been a week that we've been doing it, and already I think my husband's already lost 10 pounds. But we're doing it just to really feel better and get healthy and kind of clean out kind of all the stuff and all the too much fun we had in December. One of the things we're going to do today is we're going to talk chocolate bark, because if you're like me and you're kind of binging your favorite Netflix series, which this month for us it's Turn, really, really good series. And you know, it's after dinner, you want something sweet, you don't really want to fall off the wagon, if you will. Chocolate bark is a really great treat. You make a big batch all at once, you can store it in the fridge or in an airtight container on the counter. You break it up, a little goes a long way, and as long as you're using 70% cacao chocolate bark, your chocolate, I mean, you're getting all those wonderful antioxidants, as well as that low sugar. And how you up the sweetness and you up the flavor is by using different toppings and different textures to kind of make it more satisfying than just eating a piece of chocolate cake or a chocolate bar. So we're going to talk about that today and give you some ideas on how you can make chocolate bark for you to have on hand all month. So join me in the kitchen today. It's a quick and easy recipe. So we're going to cook up these white quinoa, 3 tablespoons, over medium-high heat in a pan until the grains start popping. You can use different colored quinoa if you like for different kinds of nutrition and color. This is just a white quinoa that I had in the pantry. Any kind of grain is nice. You could put amaranth in here, some barley, some wheat germ, maybe some steel-cut oats. So we're just going to toast these up for a minute, like a minute. Okay, once you got these kind of popping and toasting, we're going to bring the quinoa back, stir, and we're going to take off the heat. We're going to create kind of this brittle in this hot pan. You can use honey. I decided to use maple syrup, and we're just going to drizzle in about a teaspoon. And you kind of mix it up until things turn into some crispy clusters. All right, we're going to set that aside while we melt our chocolate. All right, we have a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Parchment's going to keep our bark from sticking to things. And we want really good dark chocolate, about 70% cacao. If you've got some that doesn't have quite that much, like if you want to clean out your pantry like I'm going to do from remnants of Christmas baking, I also have a 60%, which I'm going to mix in here because I want to do a couple versions. So what we're looking for is about 8 ounces per recipe. So here's our 8 ounces of chocolate. And it's mixed to get to our 8 ounces. And we're going to go in the microwave and we're going to nuke it for half power for about 1 minute. And you kind of go in stages when you're melting chocolate in the microwave because you don't want to overdo it or you're going to scald it. And then it'll seize up and you'll have to start over. So starting at half power for a minute, mixing it gently, and then putting it back in for 30-second intervals. I can't even say that right. But, you know, going in 30-second spurts, if you will, and then stirring until you get a nice melted consistency. And then at that point, when you're doing bark, it's good to mix in your spices or your herbs right then and there before you lay it out on the parchment, and then sprinkle all your good stuff on top. So let's go and melt this down. All right, we've got our nice melted chocolate. Now to this, we're gonna do our ginger pecan one first. So I've got 1.5 teaspoons of fresh grated ginger. This is a recipe that was adapted from the Bon Appetit Food Lovers Cleanse. It's an excellent cookbook. It is gonna get lumpy. Do not stress out about this. And put it on your parchment. Sprinkle 1/2 cup of toasted pecans. This is the fun part with bark, chocolate bark. You can top this with anything. And the really fun part too is sea salt, which is, versus sugar, it heightens up all the flavor. And it's a nice way to keep the sugar down. So that's our ginger pecan chocolate bark. We're gonna set this out for 2 hours and we're gonna work on our other one. Okay, we have our second batch of melted dark chocolate. We're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And you don't have to add this if you don't want, but it's just a little pinch, and I'm doing it in my hand first, of cayenne. Just a hint, you don't need to add that. So always mix in your spices into the melted chocolate. Okay, we're gonna spread it out on our parchment. All right, before it starts setting, I'm just gonna sprinkle a handful of sliced almonds. You can toast them, you don't have to, it's up to you. Now our maple quinoa has gotten all crispy, like a brittle, in the pan. So now you crumble it up on top. Isn't that wonderful? It's got that maple syrup just to add a natural sweetener to it. So definitely this is a little bit sweeter than the other one we did, because we added a teaspoon of maple syrup, but it's negligible. And it's a healthier sugar than white sugar. I like to just kind of tap everything gently just to make sure everything is gonna settle into the chocolate. Gravity does a lot for you, but... And finally, a little bit of sea salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, just a sprinkling. Heightens the flavor. If you're worried about your sodium level, you don't need to do this. But there you go. So there's like our sweet maple grain almond. And you know, you can have fun with this. You can put whatever you want on top, but that's kind of the basic for a chocolate bark. So both of these are gonna set for 2 hours and then we'll check on them. So once they've set out, what I'm going to do is kind of break them up into pieces. And a little goes a long way. Store them in airtight containers. You can store them actually in the fridge if you want to, if you want them to cool. Here we are, ready to go for our Netflix binging. Our pecan ginger and our toasted quinoa with the maple and the almonds. And I'm keeping these in Ziploc bags, but I think I am going to move them into the fridge so they last a little longer. And I gotta tell you, toasted grains are delicious. They bring out the nutty flavor and so good. And they have that great crunch and it's healthy. You're eating, I mean, quinoa's it's a power grain, so is flax. So you're getting crunch and you're getting flavor and you're getting health. So this toasted grain one is awesome. But I just had a little piece. You don't really need a lot. Little piece and you're done. And your craving is done. So there you go. I urge you to make some today. Play with toppings, play with dried fruits, and join me on my health voyage this month. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm updating it every Friday. I know we were off over Christmas break. And also check out my Urban Domestic Diva shop. I've got fun things over there. I also have an Etsy shop too. It has limited products. The bulk of the products are on the blog shop. Or visit me on all the social channels. I'm there too. So, ciao. Have a great Friday.